Hello everyone, welcome to one more episode of Talking Times. Today I'm here with Lívia. We're gonna have a very interesting conversation. I think we're gonna break a few myths here. You know, some people imagine one thing when they think about working as a flight attendant, traveling, being on a plane for hours. You're gonna know what happens behind the curtains today and other things about this amazing profession right after our podcast intro. Thank you. Hello, Lívia. Welcome.
Hi.
Lívia, every time that I talk to an English teacher, I always ask, what's your story? What has happened to you? How did you become an English teacher? So please introduce yourself to us.
Okay. So I always had a problem with introducing myself, but I'm going to be short.
No, don't have to.
I'm Lívia.
Okay.
I am 28 years old. Yeah, almost 29. And I am Bernardo's mom and also Lenton's wife. And I started to work as a teacher like in 2018, I guess. But I have been studying English for so many years in the past, like almost 18 years, I guess. And that's it, I guess.
Okay, don't forget.
Little nervous.
If you want, we can do something every time somebody's nervous. Mauricio sings a song. No, I like to do something that we call an awkward pause. That's the worst thing that can happen in a podcast. So basically, you just don't have to do anything.
Oh no, thank you. I'm good now. We can go.
Okay, that's it. That's an awkward pause. If you want to break the fourth wall, you can look to this camera, okay? So, you said you've been studying English for 18 years, okay? But before that, what people normally tell me when they talk about, I was doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then I started teaching. Was that something similar of what happened to you?
Actually, when I was at the age of 20, I went to the USA to become an au pair. Like so many other kids, I had a dream to live abroad. So, you know, watching these movies, listening to the music in English was like, I really hope that I can see it in reality one day. And then I was like, I'm 20. Nothing to do. Don't want to go to college yet, so not married, maybe.
You took a sabbatical.
Yes, so maybe I can do something about it, you know. So I enrolled myself in an agency, I guess, that take care of au pairs. And then I went to Georgia, specifically in Atlanta. And then I lived with an American family.
Nice.
But they had like 3 little girls. They were adorable, but at the same time, very difficult.
Like toddlers?
Yes, okay. Very different ages. One was like 13, the other 8. And the baby one was like 1 year and a half.
What is more difficult, dealing with toddlers like this or with passengers?
Passengers.
Okay, nice. Yeah, nice. Okay. Well, you were 20, so very young. And what was did you feel any cultural shock when you get there? Because one thing is the concepts that you make watching movies and TV shows, and then it's gonna be like this. They eat pizza every day, you know.
Yeah. For example, they are very, how can I say, they don't care about meals, you know? So in Brazil, I had this very normal routine. Lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and something in between. But there, you just have like breakfast, that is really good, and then you have dinner. But the lunch part is like very a sandwich with something inside, and that was not normal for me. So it was my first cultural shock. Like, oh my God, they do not have lunch.
Damn, it's an important one, food.
For me, it's the most important meal of the day, you know?
My mom or my grandma, they would say something like this, a very Paulista thing. They only eat mixture because we don't call protein here, you know? Like, they say this. Yeah, if you're Brazilian, you got this reference. You have rice, beans, salad, and mixture between quotation marks, you know? So if they see somebody eating, I don't know, buffalo wings, for example, but you only eat mixture, so what you're talking about.
Exactly. Like, where's the rice? Where's the side meal? Rice, beans, and stuff.
If you listen weird noises during this broadcast, it's Mauricio's laugh, okay? Because every time I say mixture, for some reason they think it's funny. So, did you influence them being Brazilian?
I did.
Guys, come here. Let me teach you something.
I did. A very nice thing is that even though they were Americans, they were also African. So
nice.
They had like a lot of curiosity about the Brazilian culture. So I introduced them to rice and beans, to feijoada, to caipirinha. So it was very nice.
That's a nice influence.
So it was very nice, and they were planning, like, before the COVID, they were planning to come here, but I don't think that worked out.
Okay.
They were doctors, so
what's the name of the family?
They are the Avoke family.
Avoke family. If you ever watch this, a big shout out to you. I had this student, Lívia. She got married with an American, and it was a similar cultural shock. She said, Mike, I had a hard time cooking here because they don't like seasoning. She was saying something like this, like I had to prepare food that for me the taste was flat because and she's Baiana, so imagine she likes food with flavor,
Exactly.
So then it was like step by step teaching them. We can put this, and it's not only salt,
Yeah.
Did you notice something similar about their food?
Yes, I did. It's very spicy or it's very flat. There's no in between.
The spicy thing is okay for me, but
it's just spicy. There's no like taste, we cannot taste any other seasoning. It's just spicy. So that's not very good. Okay,
that's a nice reason to go to other countries and have this cultural interaction. It's a win-win for everybody. Okay, so you stayed there for how long?
For almost 2 years.
2 years.
I think 1 year and a half.
Okay.
Almost 2 years.
Was it enough for you to miss Brazil?
It was actually.
Right.
Not, how can I say, it was, I missed the warmth of people. Like people here in Brazil, we are very connected. We like to talk. We like to hug, to ask, how are you doing? There people are very, how can I say? They're
their own space.
Yeah, like everyone in your box, So I miss it a lot.
And this was before you became a teacher, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
So and I actually learned a lot of English there because the kids, they were going to school. So when I was speaking something that were not right, they would like, that's not correct.
They were like,
yeah.
But in a polite way, or like, you said this wrong.
Sometimes polite, sometimes like, again? Really? You're really saying like that again?
Okay, yeah, kids can be douche sometimes.
Yeah,
Okay.
They really can.
I'm asking this because it's another thing that transforms people, traveling abroad, working with people from other cultures, and I remember a student telling me, Mike, when I was there to learn English, I had this little pressure, because I didn't want to commit mistakes, anything like that. But the fact that the person was 24/7 listening and talking English, it made a huge difference, Did you notice something like this? Like, oh my God.
Yes, of course. I remember that the first week I was in New York and I went to McDonald's and I didn't know how to ask anything.
Number one.
And I have like 10 years of English here in Brazil. I have studied already 10 years. And then when I went there, I was like, oh my God, I did not understand anything that he's saying. And I remember that after 15 days, maybe 2 weeks, I was like, oh, no. Now I can go to McDonald's because I really understand what he's saying. I know what is the idiom that they're using because we have this English that we see in textbooks and then we have the English that we live. And sometimes it's not always correct. We use grammar wrong and stuff and you get used to it.
This is a very nice tip for all the students watching us. Sometimes they imagine will go to a hot dog stand at Times Square, and they will, okay, sir, would you like a hot dog? Which one would you like to eat? And what a hot dog, ketchup, mustard, which one?
Exactly.
Anything on the side? Anything on the side?
Side, yeah. I took a very long time to learn what side means in a restaurant. I was like, what is a side? Side meal, side... Oh, rice. Okay, salad. Oh, now I get it.
I know what would happen with me. I would go to a restaurant and it would be like this. Okay, what would you like on the side? No one. I would like the food in front of me, right here, something like that.
All right.
You see it? Amazing production.
Mentally came to me.
And don't forget, always drink like this.
Water.
Now, what can you tell to students that are struggling with grammar and they are planning on traveling abroad? We have something here called Orlando Experience,
Wow.
And a lot of students, they are
Very
planning
nice.
to do that. And sometimes they are afraid. Shout out to you, Willie, if you are watching this, our students know why.
Don't be afraid. Grammar is very beautiful in textbooks only, so you need to have a very good English grammarly speaking if you're going to do a test, if you're going to do some application to go somewhere. The important part about English is to communicate. If you can understand what the person is saying and you can say it back, that's okay. Americans really get it when you cannot speak properly a language, and have in mind that you speak two languages, and maybe then you just speak one. So that's the beautiful part about learning a second language, because you can speak more than one.
You are walking the extra mile to make the communication happen.
Exactly. So maybe you're very smart in your own language, but not very smart in the other language, but it doesn't matter. You just have to communicate and make yourself understandable. That's my point.
Nice. No, thank you so much for this. You are making a lot of people calmer now. Like, oh my God, see, I'm studying.
They don't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
For example, I lived in the South. And
the South.
Yeah.
We can start talking like
no, please. And I took a very long time to understand what they were saying, because my English is not Southern. I like to think that. And then when I went to the first hot dog stand, like you said, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here?
Welcome to Billy's Hot Dog.
Exactly.
And then sometimes they have their own names for the dishes. Would you like a guacamole, something like that?
Exactly.
Say, what?
So it's very different. So don't care about grammar. Of course, study grammar, but don't be, how can I say it? Don't
a
get
grammar
too
nerd.
exactly.
Yeah.
Don't get so worried about it.
The thing that people forget when they're studying these methodologies focus in communication is that is exactly what has already happened to your own language. So, for example, if you speak Portuguese fluently, try to remember that when we are talking Portuguese, you don't think of the grammar structures, you just communicate. It's
exactly.
quite the same there, Now, for the people that would like to do the same thing that you have done about being an au pair, how can they prepare for this? What would be your tips?
First of all, you have to like kids. You're going to deal with them a lot of your time, so it's a must. You must like kids, And after that, you need to have experience with them, because you're going to take care of them.
Okay.
Some agencies ask for you to have car drive license, so you need to learn how to drive, because sometimes you're going to take the kids to school and stuff. Not all of them are going to take the bus, the yellow bus that everyone likes.
Yeah. That's the thing that is exactly how you see
so
there.
you need to learn how to drive. If you don't, you need to.
Yeah, silly question, but I have a driving license here. Do I have to do some practical tests when I go there?
Yes, you do. Some states, they accept your driver license for 90 days, 3 months. But after that, you have to do the test to get the state drive license, because it also works as an ID. So if you have them, you don't need to have another ID, your passport. You can keep it safe at home and stuff.
Makes sense.
But you do. You have to take
the thing that we are we have the cars with a real car with a gear shift. You know, when you go there, you have to do the test in an automatic car.
Yep.
It's probably weird.
For me, it was very difficult because, here we have gear shift, and I was like, now I know how to drive. No. And then I got the automatic, was like, oh my God, what is that?
You think you're stepping on the clutch and the brakes and...
Exactly. But in the end, it worked.
And the instructor like...
And then they have something that is called parallel parking. It's the most difficult parking.
Parallel parking.
Yep. I don't know how to explain.
Okay.
But if you are home, you can, Google it. But parallel parking for me, it was very difficult.
Because here everybody's afraid with the sticks. They're, I'm going to hit a stick here when they're
But the parallel parking, you have to park with the front of the car to the street in the back, like in a 45 degree. It's very difficult to explain, but it's not difficult. But for me, it was like, oh my God, what is that?
So practice your parallel parking before going there. Nice. When you were teaching here at times, what were your favorite classes to teach?
Oh, probably songs. Song classes.
I like those too. Yeah.
They were my favorite because you can interact a lot more and you get to listen to music. So that was very nice.
Okay, so teacher, you were taking care of kids. You work as a flight attendant. I would dare to say that you like working with people, but that would be maybe far-fetched,
I like
tolerate
to work.
them.
No, I like to work with people, but I also like to be by myself.
No, but it makes a lot of sense. Where are my nerd glasses? I will create excuses to use this. What happens, guys, when you are interacting with people, you are overloading your prefrontal cortex. That is the part of your brain that inhibits some of your behavior. So you are all the time thinking, like it's happening right now. Should I say this? I cannot say that. So it's okay if you haven't done like physical exercising and you feel exhausted if you deal with a lot of people.
Yep.
Perfectly normal.
Perfectly
So when you
normal.
leave here, you can say, I hate everyone.
But I've dealt with more than 700 people in a day working as a flight attendant, so just 4 of us, we are fine.
Okay, before we go to the flight attendant, you work at Bosch too?
Yes, I did.
What were you doing there? What was your...
There I worked with the automotive aftermarket that is focused in workshops.
People too.
People too. But I dealt with the easy part, not too connected to people, more to the owners of the workshops. So it was less people, less people, more sanity. And there I worked, I learned how to work as a team because, as a teacher, you are with your student and then the students see you as some kind of leader, like, guide me here, guide me there. But in a big company like Bosch, you need to learn your place, you're enrolled to do this, so you have to do this and only this. Leave this other part to the other person that is,
they have this strict hierarchy and everybody doing their own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that was very nice. I learned how to do my part,
Okay. All right. I'm thinking here because when you develop the people's skill, some people they neglect the other parts, like the soft skills, hard skills. Which part is more essential being a flight attendant, or is a mix? Because I imagine a lot of technical things too, right?
I think it's a mix, but I think that being empathic, you have to be more than just technical. Of course, safety is always come first. It's a safety measure. It's non-negotiable. But maybe you have that client, that passenger that is going to their mother's
funeral,
for example, and you have to be patient to really understand and listening. So we like to say that inside of the plane, we are psychologists, doctors, teachers, mothers, dads, because everyone is looking for attention and you have to give them, but also do your job. So I think it's a very good mix.
Makes sense. How long have you been working there at Bosch before you did this transition?
I worked at Bosch for almost 3 years.
3 years?
3 years of pace, insanity.
Oh, okay.
Before I got to the crazy part of my life. That is being a flight
attendant. What brought you to
attendant.
this path?
I always dreamed of traveling.
Okay.
I always believed that if I was a flight attendant, I would travel a lot.
You do, right?
Yeah, I do.
But?
Not in a way that I like, but I do. So I always wanted to see places, to see other cultures. So in 2015, I started to study in how to become a flight attendant, but never got the chance to really work at a big company. So I was like, maybe I need to learn English first. And then I went to the USA.
It's a must, right?
Yes,
it's not
it is a must. It's not
like
a question
a perk, something else. No,
yeah.
Okay.
It's a must. I was like, maybe I need to learn English first. And after that, I was like, now I'm here, but I do not have so much experience with people, so I need to get this experience. And I started to work with other things like being a teacher, going to Bosch. And then after that, I was like, I think now it's enough. I think now it's the time, I was like older too, because at 20, 18 years old, you don't know anything. You think you do, but you don't. And I was like...
I'm almost 40 and I don't know squat. So
I was like, maybe now is the time. And then I started to send applications. And after that, like after 9 months, actually, I got my dream job
nice.
to work as a flight attendant.
How is the training? Because the students, and I have a friend that it's a pilot. And some students, they have done the training, and they know I like survivalism and the camping.
It's nice.
Say, you would like
if you like it, you love the profession.
And they always say, I had to drink chicken's blood.
Chicken's blood, you have to kill the chicken sometimes, touch the snake and stuff like that. You have to really...
Tell me more, okay.
You cannot be afraid of animals, first of all. And you have to really submerge yourself and think that this can happen. Like, usually if the plane crash, you're going to die, But sometimes people survive, and you need to learn how to make yourself alive until help came.
Makes sense. You cannot be part of the problem, a liability. You need to be the person that everybody calm the fuck down.
Exactly. That's the training, actually. You need to keep everyone calm so you can do your job, to remember where all the emergency equipment is, where the survival kit is. So you need to really be calm and think like, I have the training to do that. I have the training to really understand the situation, to analyze and get help and stuff.
This is amazing because it's the type of situation that we are never prepared, because it is something that breaks our routine, and it's like this. Maybe you only know how you will react if it actually happens to you.
Exactly.
But how is the training? Is like a week or days,
no,
months?
It's like 2 months of
2
training.
months.
Yep.
It's like Elite Squad. You see people quitting on the first days. This is not for me.
Not quitting because, in my batch, no one quit.
Okay.
But in others, we had this small percentage of people that do. But when we get there, really understand the job, it's not travel. We have a lot of misconceptions about the flight attendant job, but it's not just travel, take pictures, post on Instagram.
We're
it's
like a guardian of the passengers there in a way.
So there we are the last people that the passengers see when the door closed, and we are the first one that they see when they arrive at the destination. So if you are not calm, if you are not ready to deal with stressful situations, they are going to see it. If you're not calm, then it's like, oh my god, the flight attendant is not calm, so we are in danger. So we need to,
you have to practice a poker face.
Yeah, we do.
If they see there is this small space at the curtain, then they kind of glance and they see like, oh my god, we're gonna have hello everyone, remain calm please, no problem.
Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened, please.
Oh my, but that's a big load of stress there.
It is. It's a very stressful job, I think that for cabin crews, it is difficult for pilots. Of course, it is more difficult because they are piloting it and stuff. But we had to have, like you said, the poker face. We have to be calm all the time, to really speak in a low voice, not raise our voice, because if we are nervous, they get nervous too. So the training helped us to really deal with our emotions. In the ocean, for example, we have a very big pool at the academy where we learn how to get the person when
like
the
you
person is in
rescue
danger.
them when they're like drowning.
Rescue them. Exactly, thank you. And then we learn how to do it in a way that will not harm us or them.
They can drown you back with them.
For example,
is there like a technique that you have?
Yes, we do. Like if the person is drowning, never try to hug her, catch her by the front, always by the back. By the shirt here or under the arms, And you really have to understand how the equipment works, emergency lights, the boat, the signalization, all of those things. You need to understand what they are trying to communicate, like if it is used by day or by night and stuff like that.
That's really, really interesting. Because everything now makes sense, the tone of voice that you need to have. Like if you are a little bit off of the standard procedure, the thing could escalate to a way
very
that
quickly.
Because you are in a confined place. If you think that it sounds very stupid to travel by plane, in a way that you get a bunch of people in a very small place. And you are up there, It's because we are amazing as humans. We
40,000 feet above the ground.
If you think, imagine aliens.
If you like aliens, actually, we have stories like...
Oh my god, one moment. Okay. Thank you so much, Lívia, for helping me to wear my...
Oh, use your hat.
Yeah, okay.
For example, when we are doing... the night flights.
Okay.
Usually, if it is extra long flights, more than 3 hours, we get to take care of the pilots inside the cabin flight. And then we're like, what is that light over there? Flying.
Really?
And he's like,
so cool.
We don't know, because drones, the drones, they do not fly that high.
Okay.
And sometimes we see lights very quickly in the sky.
This is not a script. Okay.
Really, that really happens sometimes. Some say that is ovnis, others say that is like the supersonic jets, but I don't think so.
It could be because, for example, when people say UFO, they always imagine like a living creature or like a small humanoid thing, like I'm gonna, dominate. No. But it could be like a spy from somebody else, like spies, I mean, like satellites, like you said, or more advanced tech, I don't know. But
I doubt it, but...
Who knows? And if they know, they were not gonna tell us. Okay, and I can go back to my normal self. Thank you so much. Have you ever noticed? Because I imagine the thing there is a certain hierarchy too. You have to remain calm, so you will make the passengers calm. What about the pilots? Do they have to wear a poker face when they direct?
Do.
Have you ever noticed somebody
slipping? They do. Once I was Manaus. I do not remember exactly, but I remember that we had a bird strike. When the bird gets inside of the...
okay, it's massive. You can destroy a turbine, something like this, right?
And it was like, we heard the noise, but...
Sorry. And everyone,
and we get the smell, fried chicken. Yep, because it's very hot.
Sorry.
And I was like, something.
You smell like fried chicken. There's the pan. Oh my god, they're serving buffalo wings here.
And then we got to call the pilots, and they say like, we may had a situation, but we are going to get back at you in a moment. And this moment took like 45 minutes, and they call us, yep, we had a bird strike, so now we are going to land. It's going to be an emergency land, but everything's okay because the airplane, they fly with just one engineer, you know. So it was like, so they got to do a poker face because they knew what happened, but they did not tell us.
40 minutes?
Yeah, because they have to.
There's like a protocol.
There's a protocol to follow, you know, inside the cabin. They do their stuff and we do ours, and it takes time, you know. But it was not very serious.
This is an amazing, the level of competence that you need to have, because you literally are dealing to a very, very stressful situation, something that can make everybody go nuts, and you say, oh, everything's gonna be all right. It's like, I don't know, a surgeon and somebody has to operate something really, really, really difficult, and you just make everybody calm, and then, okay, the problem is solved, don't worry.
Yeah, that's it.
I guess the stoic position, it will be like, well, if the airplane has to fall, we're gonna know eventually. So,
that's it.
Why worry?
Like,
stoic passenger.
If it goes down, what can I do?
Okay, talking about that, not exactly about that, but what are the things that people should do? Now you can break the fourth wall if you want.
Okay.
Let's say to be an easygoing passenger, a person easy to deal, and then we can go to the don'ts.
Okay, listen to the crew.
Okay.
Do not make a mess of your seat.
Okay.
And respect other passengers as you would like to be respected. Do not take off your shoes and put in front of the other person. Like, you know.
If there is a sign, there is a story, always.
Yep.
Please, do not give mushrooms to the passengers.
Yep. Like, if you like to listen to music, please use your earphones.
Okay.
You know, no one likes to have noise passengers besides them. And what else? Really listen to the crew. That's the best part. If we ask you to change seats, just change seats because we know what we are doing, you know.
There's something about the emergency seat.
Yep.
What's up with that? What happens? We have someone in the studio that says, I want a seat there, but I can't because of a profile.
So if you want to sit in an emergency exit, you need to be healthy, first of all. You need to be capable of taking care of yourself and others.
Why?
So because you have to lift a very heavy door or window.
Do your push-ups and all your lifting.
So if you do not like to exercise and stuff, you cannot hold the door because the door
30 kilos.
Almost 30 kilos. So be very careful if you want to sit there. Be sure that you are physically able, fit, you know, to really do the stuff that the crew are going to shout out to you.
It's always the 90-year-old passenger, but I want to sit here.
So it's not an extra space, it's a safety space, you know. If the plane catch on fire and we need to open the door, you need to be able to really do it. So if we ask you to change, because sometimes the person has like lower back pain or cannot lift or there's a heart problem, the person cannot sit there. And they don't understand because I paid more for that, you know. I paid more, it cost me extra, but I don't care if it costs you extra. I don't care, you're not going to sit there.
Somebody's life.
Exactly. So safety is always first. So sometimes we have to change passengers and they do not get happy.
Okay. What type of passengers that gives us, let's say, a bigger headache there? What are the bad things they normally do? You mentioned something about the seat. I remember you saying something about, I asked about pets too. Like
pets, yeah. For example, if you are carrying a pet, you cannot sit in the emergency exit because your pet is going to be on the way. For example, elderly people cannot sit there too because above 60 years old, you cannot sit in the emergency exit. I'm not saying that you're old. I'm just saying that you're not fit, you know. But we have those kind of situations a lot. And like you said, pets, we have like emotional pets that are very big, and sometimes people want that extra room to feed the dog there, but it's not able. we can do it.
Okay, all right. There's a question here from Claudio. Shout out to you, Claudio. What was the longest flight Lívia has ever worked on?
The longest flight that I have ever worked on is to Colombia. We went to Bogota. It's almost 6 hours and a half. It's very long. We have two kinds of services. We serve the food 2 times, when we serve the drinks 2 times. So we get very tired.
So, what are the misconceptions that people have? Well, you said at the beginning, I love traveling. If this is the reason why people want to be a flight attendant, would you recommend to follow this? Okay. What's a normal day?
If you just want to travel, get money,
be a passenger.
Be a passenger.
Okay.
Do not be a flight attendant. Even though we worked a lot, we travel a lot actually. We worked twice as hard. So we work 12 hours a day, and it's very long. We get very tired. So sometimes we are in a dream location like Recife, Maceió, but you do not have the energy to go outside your room. You just take a shower, eat something, and go to sleep.
How many free hours do you have between flights?
Usually the minimum is 12 hours. But sometimes...
You have to sleep at least 6 or 7.
Exactly.
To be healthy should be more, right?
Exactly. The minimum is 12, but sometimes you get 48 hours. When you have these long layovers, you can really enjoy the city, you can go sightseeing. But if you don't, then just rest, because you're going to need the energy for the other day,
My friend, Clinter, shout out to you. We were having this chat before. He was self-employed before. He has his own store, and then he took the course, did all the flying hours, and eventually he started to work for a big company. And we were chatting about his profession, the hardest struggle that he has a daughter too. I forgot her name. Sorry, man. But I guess she's 2 years old, and she said, man, the hardest part is being a lot of time far from my family,
the hardest.
Yeah, so how can people, have these 2 things together, like work in this field and have some quality time with the family, or it's up to the person, because it has not to be imagined, or you do this or you do that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you need to be mentally prepared to know that you're going to spend holidays, very important holidays like Christmas, New Year's, away from your family, birthdays, anniversaries. So you need to be mentally fit to understand that not always you're going to be present, but when you're present, you need to be 100% with them, So that's very important. For example, I'm a mother now, and I am on maternity leave. But after I return, I will need to readapt my routine.
You can sneak it. Is a son or a daughter?
A son, okay. Bernardo.
You can sneak Bernardo in.
Oh, my dream, but I can't.
Put him in the emergencies.
No, he's going to stay with dad. Yeah. But when I'm home, I will try to really be with him, because time flies, literally in aviation.
That was a good pun.
Time flies.
This is the name of the cut we have. Time flies. Okay.
And you need to really be present, be there when you have dinner with your family. Do not be on your phone or chatting with friends. Be with them, because family is important. And for me, the hardest part is to be away from, at the time, before maternity leave, be away from my husband or my parents, but now it's going to be being away from my kid.
It makes a lot of sense, because the fact that you are away more, it makes you appreciate the time you have together. Yep. And I guess you will have this exact feel, oh my god, time is flying, because of it.
The kid's getting older.
Yeah, when you see he will be going to school, always like that.
Always like that.
Okay, how did your previous professions help you in your current work, like the teacher, the au pair, the boss?
For example, the au pair helped me learn that I cannot live just for myself. I need to take care of things, because when you take care of kids, you really understand that they are dependable and other people depends on you, so it's very important. At times I learned how to read signs. You know, when the student is with that face like, I'm not following you.
The ones that turn on their cameras.
Like, I'm not following you, but I'm going to say that I am, so you can move on.
You give the instructions. I will not try to do the things that.
So at times I learned how to read signs, you know, read people's face and stuff. And at Bosch I learned how to work as a team, to understand my place and stuff. And all of that combined in aviation helped me learn that, for example, when a passenger is flying for the first time, I need to be patient because
he or she is very nervous.
Yeah, doesn't understand how to buckle the seat or how to go to the bathroom, to open the door. So that's very important to read the signs. And when you're, for example, in a stressful situation, you need to talk about it to the pilots. You need to understand that your place is not to make judgments. It's not to give them instructions. You need to give them the situation, and then they are going to give you instructions, you know. So that's very nice too. So it helped me a lot.
You will not go to the pilot. Oh, you know, you should circle back and go.
Yeah, like I think you should land. You know?
Why? Oh, I don't like the bathroom here. You know.
Yeah,
I had a couple of burritos.
That's a bird strike and the airplane's going to fall. So maybe you should, you know, land. And he's like, but we fly with just one engineer. So what are you saying?
It makes sense. Has there ever been a passenger that, in a way, that was special to you at the situation, or somebody? I don't know, because you mentioned before, a lot of them are in very specific moments or emotional situations, and you are part of it in a way.
Yeah. For example, once we are going to Brasilia to Porto Velho, it's a very common road, and then we have in the basement something that we called skiff. That is a dead person inside the airplane.
Sorry.
That's not funny.
No, it's because the way you said we had like a skiff, and I was imagining like cargo. It's a dead person. Come on.
We use it, this name in my company to identify that is a dead person inside the airplane, but in the basement.
Okay, so if we listen skiff, oh my god, the skiff is missing.
Yeah. And then his family was in the plane, and I was like very happy serving them, like would like to drink coffee or tea and stuff, like very happy. And the girl was like crying, was like, oh my god, and I was like, oh sorry, I'm not feeling okay, want a cup of water? And she was like, no, my dad is dead inside of the plane. I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't have like the face to say nothing else. It was like I just moved on.
But
like,
there's no face that you can wear.
Yeah, like I was like, because I was so happy to serve her, like because when we work, we have to have a smiling face all the time. You know, it's part of our training too. But I remember
prefrontal cortex.
Yep. But I remember that it was my first time going to that place, to this new destination. So I was like very excited. And then when I saw her face, like she was crying, I was like trying to be cool, like, oh, don't cry, it's normal to be nervous flying. And she was like, no, I'm not nervous because I'm flying. I'm nervous, like I'm sad because my father is dead inside of the airplane, you know. So I was like, okay, sorry.
Yeah, but I told this story here a few times. I was having a song class, and it was about a Valentine's Day class. People talking about, you know, the question that we were discussing was, I was asking the people what they didn't like about their partner. So husbands complaining about their wives complaining about their husband. And I was teaching, don't say big love in English. You say my significant other, something like this. And I had this student, adorable man, really, really nice guy. He used to go there and have classes with his granddaughter. So he was an older man. And he said, Mike, I don't have anything to complain because my mozão is dead in the middle of the class. And everybody was like complaining. And I was like,
okay.
I paused. It's like, you know, what can I say to this? And he was adorable. He was really nice. And the lesson there was like, you guys complaining. I wish, he didn't say that, but it was kind of between lines. I wish she was alive, so I had a reason to complain
about.
And then, well, I remember the class went to a place like, oh, the beautiful thing here is the memories and everything nice that you say about her, you know. That's why it's so sad not having her here. And it was cool, but it was a lesson like this. We are never prepared, you know.
Never. So I think that was the most sad part.
No, but
that was nice.
It makes sense. I imagine the other time after that you saw someone crying and said, okay, is there anything?
Yeah. So I learned.
It teaches, right?
Yep. I learned like not go too happy to talk to them because I don't know what they are facing. So it was like every time that I see someone that is not happy, I was like, oh, okay, so what is happening? Can you tell me what's wrong so we can, you know, solve your problem? But sometimes it's just like nervous about flying and stuff, you know.
About that, we are gonna talk how unlikely it is for a plane crash to happen, because I guess people don't understand.
Very unlikely.
Because how many flights happen per day in the world? You know,
my company per day is like 800 flights.
800 flights per day, one company. Okay. A question here from Jonas. Shout out to you, man. Jonas, Anna. What was the most stressful and dangerous situation you have ever experienced on a flight?
For me, personally, it was the bird strike, because you're not prepared, like, to have a bird flying that high, you know? But we have birds that fly high.
He said birds, but maybe it was something else.
So we are not prepared because the noise is very loud. And the first thing that you do is like, oh my God, emergency.
Oh, and the passengers, of course, they will
sometimes
hear.
they do not really understand what are happening. They do not pay attention. And besides, many of them are sleeping. So the ones that are awake usually are watching something or listening to music. So they are not really paying attention, but we are. It's our job.
Of course.
So when we have this situation, the first thing that comes in mind is emergency. Where I am on the plane, what do I have to do? Where's my emergency exit? Where is my section?
You go to functional mode right away.
Right away.
It means you had a good training.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I think for me it was the bird strike. But I also have a situation in Rio de Janeiro, landing in Santos Dumont. In Brazil is the most dangerous airport that we have, is Santos Dumont, Rio de Janeiro. And then we are about to land, and then we have to take off again. So it was like my first week really working as a flight attendant, because I was just fresh out of training, you know. And I remember that I was being instructed by another flight attendant, and I was like, they're really feeling beautiful sitting in my seat, just waiting for land. And then when he touched the ground, he took off again, because there was birds coming in his way, so he had to took off again. So for me, like, my heart really stopped. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die today. But it's a very common situation in aviation. When you don't feel the land, you take off again. It's very common, but it was my first time landing in that place.
You were already like, oh my God, the training, I've been prepared for.
Yeah. And then I was like, white as a ghost. And my teacher was like, are you okay? You're feeling well. You need to go to the bathroom to like recompose yourself, or you're feeling good? I was like, I'm feeling. I was like shaking like a leaf, like, oh my God, I'm doing it. It was really nice.
I'm really okay with heights. The first time I've traveled by plane, I remember like, I imagined the seat was, you know, with more space, was bigger, but it was a very small one, you know, not the type of the one that bends back.
Not first class, baby.
I wasn't even coach. I don't know what was that, but anyways, they gave me a
snack.
Yeah, shitty snack. Anyway, but the thing that really got me was my ears. They got blocked. I felt like this weird feeling here.
Inside.
And I was like, I had to do this people looking at me. Imagine I had a sort of a nervous tick. But when I did like this, it got better. It was only this, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to sleep. It was like 2 hours from, I guess, or no, less 40 minutes, I guess, from here from Balneário, I guess. It was really short flight, you know. And the moment that it was landing, the little cold in your stomach, I guess is normal.
It's normal. The ear block is very common if you're not if you have a flu or something. It's very, very common actually, especially in kids or if you're sick.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more common than you know.
Okay.
We got a lot of complaints in the plane, my ear is hurting. What can I do? Do you have some medicine? We cannot give medicine. We do have medicine inside of the plane, but we cannot give it just because of it. But it's very common.
Okay, what are the things that we should never... What's the protocol for things that you shouldn't say in an airplane?
You shouldn't say?
Yeah, because I remember the movie where with the movie that he said, I have a gun in my shoe, and he has a gun, and he said something like a bomb. And everybody was freaking out.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful with everything that you say inside of a plane that puts the safety in check. For example, we had a situation in Guarulhos last year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was 2024, in the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Where a passenger got inside and say, I'm carrying a bomb, ha ha ha, for the flight attendant purse, for the chief purse. And then we had to ground. Was
it a kid?
No, it was 60. An older person,
Yeah,
60 years
but
old.
A douchebag.
Yeah, he was mad because of the flight was delayed. And then he had to go to the remote, because in the airport you have the fingers where you enter the airplane. Mm-hmm. And you also have
fingers.
Fingers, those things. It's called fingers.
Yeah, they space there. Yeah.
And then we have the remote where you go by stairs inside the airplane, And then he was very mad because he was taking the stairs and because he was old and could not walk properly. And he was like, I'm carrying a bomb to this shit place.
How are you? Okay.
And then but his bag was in the basement of the airplane, so
you had to empty everything,
everyone, and the flight got delayed for almost 6 hours.
6 hours because of a bad joke.
Yep, because of a bad joke. So be careful. Don't listen to loud music. Do not be rude to the crew because we are just doing our job.
Can you? Like it happened in the movie with Jack Nixon and Adam Sandler, I guess. I forgot the name now.
Anger management.
Can you remove a passenger, for example? Let's say, of course, it was not going to be for a silly reason. You like São Paulo, you see a Corintiano there, do not like this. But I don't know, you have the authority, right?
Oh, yes, we do. Inside of the plane, the pilot, he is the authority, the max, the top of the hierarchy. But we also have, so if a passenger is coming and it's already giving trouble to the ground crew, we are not going to let him enter the airplane. For example, once I was going to Chile, Santiago, and the person was in the Heineken bar at the airport, drinking a lot. And we saw that they were already drunk. It was a couple. And then the chief purse, not me because I was not chief purse at that flight, thank God. But she was like, they cannot go. They are totally drunk. And then the ground crew would investigate and okay, so we're going to inform them that they're not allowed.
Awkward. Imagine, excuse me, you are too hammered to go there.
Yeah, so we can ground a person to flight to that.
You say ground?
Yeah, too.
No, because I would say you are grounded. That sounds cool. Oh, sorry, you drank too much. You're grounded. And the person's
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
But it's almost like that, we can inform that person cannot go.
Damn. No, because if the person is really, really, really drunk, the chance of causing some problems.
Yeah. And if it is in a flight, if the person is already flying, we can also if he's violent or trying to hit us, we can restrain, to put her in the seat and restrain her there. So we have it.
You're not allowed to have any type of how can I say this? like some type of medicine or imagine you have like a shot in the person's sleeve. That would be very cool.
I wish.
know,
No,
you
you just get those black things that I do not know the name in English, but you put her in their arms and tight, and that's it.
Oh yeah, the person. Okay.
Now you have to be calm.
That makes sense. Unfortunately, we're already running out of time, so I'll get the last minutes that we have here. Talk about the other thing, about the motherhood.
The motherhood part.
Yeah. How has it been for you? What has changed about that? Mother's Day was just a few days ago.
Those days, right?
Yeah.
Last Sunday. Being a mother changed everything that I believed. Like, it was never my dream to be a mother, but after I found out that I was pregnant, I was actually working when I found out. It changed everything inside of my thing. I was working. I started to get sick, airplane sick, and I was like, something's not right. And then I did the pregnancy test, and I was like, oh my god, that's not just me.
The poker face.
Yeah, no, it's not just me. I have another one to take care of. So I started to be less selfish. So I think that is very important. When you became a mother, you really understand what your mother went through. So it is nice, but it also gets me
at the same time.
Yeah, terrified.
I am in that phase of my life that a lot of my friends that I used to hang out, I used to see doing the dumbest things ever. I said, this guy being a dad.
Yep.
My guy is gonna be a great dad. After you find out, and they share the same thing with me. Man, everything changes. Like suddenly meaning. Oh, when I held her in my arms for the first time, man, I said, oh my god.
I like to say that the smell of the first time that I held my baby is going to be in my mind forever. It's not. People say that, oh, it's very beautiful, mom. And I was like, damn, this baby doesn't smell good. He's not smelling good.
I thought he would say something
take a shower? But he's so funny. He's very smiley, and he's very cute, actually, very chubby. But for me, it's like many misunderstandings were being breaked, But it's nice.
Yeah, I imagine, I don't know, when I become a dad, I imagine it's definitely a long-term project, in life. But it would make every little daily sacrifice that you do be worth it.
Yes.
I'm dealing with this asshole passenger, or I'm in a stressful situation, but it's all for
my kid.
Exactly.
I need to go home. So for example, as a flight attendant, I need to make sure that everything is safe and properly going to the right direction, because I need to go home to my kid. So that's my deal now, I have to go home to my kid, and like me there are so many others, so it's very
that's
nice.
Beautiful. I don't have anything better than that to ask you today, but I have one thing. That is after you started working as a flight attendant, how do you see airplane movies? When you were watching, it's nothing like that. That's sheer bullshit.
I think that when you work at something that you really enjoy, you start to see the things that this is not like that. For example, flight movies, forget it.
They change everything.
They change everything. I think that the most realistic movie about a flight that I have ever seen in my life, it's called Sully.
Oh, the one with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Never travel with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, never. Please, don't do it. But I think it's the most realistic movie of flights that I have ever seen in my life.
Not snakes on a plane?
Nope.
Okay.
The rest,
Airplane, the one you mentioned. Good one too. Thank you so much, Lívia.
Thank you.
Very nice talking.
Thank you for having me.
And a final message to everyone watching us.
Okay, so if you're flying, please be nice to your flight attendants. Give them free gifts like chocolates and stuff. They're very nice, and they're going to give you something back, maybe an upgrade seat, So be nice to your flight attendant and be a good kid to your mother, because we do a lot for you.
This is a nice tip.
And don't worry about your grammar.
Thank you so much, Lívia.
Thank
Guys,
you.
don't forget.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget, this episode is going to be on Spotify tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and hope to see you next week, the same time, Talking Times. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.